Vengo anch'io. Vengo anch'io. Ma sì, ha ragione lei, sto sbagliando tutto. Stiamo sbagliando tutto. Silvia. Silvia, ma chi sei?
Listen.
Silvia.
Cooper Glover, 1972 here. Of course, you know me as Brian. So yeah, but before I start the video, which is lesser known Criterion movies, which I've done before, yeah, just in honor of Independence Day, July 4th, I've got my red, white, and blue Liberty overalls on and my white polka dot red shirt. So, and the blue here is just, I just wanted to dye my hair blue again. So that's just a coincidence. So, but anyways, in the past, I've done these videos called lesser known Criterion titles that I recommend, because Barnes & Noble currently in this July until the end of July, I'll flash on the screen when the exact date when it ends, because I don't know off the top of my head, but it's the end of July, somewhere in there, probably the last Sunday in July, I would guess. It's already started. It started in June. Last week it was. Let me see. Where's the calendar here? Okay. Yeah, it started in June 26th, a Friday last week. Today's July the 2nd, and it's around 9 p.m. Eastern time when I'm recording this. Anyways, so tackling this subject, and there's going to be a sister video or a brother. There's going to be another video, Criterion suggestions as well. But in that video, it's going to be more well-known titles, but still not. I've recommended titles in the past, and everybody, I'm not going to recommend, like this one is lesser known, and the reason is because everybody, people in the know about cinema, people that, everybody's heard of Fellini and Bergman, and people have already heard of 8.5, La Dolce Vita, Kurosawa's Seven Samurai, Bergman's Seventh Seal, Persona. Everybody knows those ones. And so, a while back, I thought, maybe a few years ago, maybe more than that, I thought, why not recommend Criterion titles that, are off the beaten path, that nobody hears of or maybe are unknown. So anyways, let's get to it. So I try to organize this in categories. So more or less, it's already organized in categories. So these are these first ones are centered around like women protagonist characters. So first one is Wanda. Oh, and I might put some pictures in the video from the films, like still pictures, just to spruce up the video and make it, put some more razzmatazz, jazz in it. And I'm gonna put my music in these two videos. Anyways, this is Wanda, and this is by Barbara Loden. Barbara Loden is she had a short life. She was married to Elia Kazan, who directed On the Waterfront with Marlon Brando, Carl Malden, and Rod Steiger. and Lee J. Cobb. You know, that's a pretty famous film. And he directed another movie, Elia Kazan. I think he directed A Face in the Crowd with Andy Griffith, which is interesting because Andy Griffith, you know him as the Mr. Matlock guy, the nice guy, and he plays a lowlife in that film. So, anyways, I'm digressing. So Wanda's about this young woman. She's sort of a deadbeat mother. She doesn't really take care of her kids. She doesn't have a job, so she sort of wanders around, and then she comes across this guy, and I don't want to spoil these movies, so I'm gonna try and gingerly kind of move around and not try to spoil the ending or anything. But so she gets involved with how do I put it, breaking the law, and so, you know, it's tragic, but it's a really good movie. And the woman that directed it, Barbara Loden, some of these movies, usually I watch the special features on the Criterions, and I have in the past, but like I was on this, trying to watch as many films as possible every day these past few months, or last year. So I wasn't watching the special features, so I could get through a bunch of movies, and I had the special features slow me down. But I'm gonna try and get back to watching the special features on you know, not just Criterions, but movies in general. Anyways, she died. Maybe she was 50 years old or 40 years old, I think, of cancer. So really good movie. I highly recommend this. That's Wanda. Next movie. This is directed by two people. Volker Schlondorf, who directed The Tin Drum. What else did he direct? That's the only one I can think of. Oh, I remember. I think I'm recommending another film directed by him too, later in the video. And a woman director named Margrethe, I'm butchering it, von Trotta. They're German people. Anyways, it's called The Lost Honor Katharina Blum. She gets her name. The main character is a young woman. She goes to a party. She meets this guy at the party. They go to her apartment, and then because she finds out she's involved with somebody who's like I don't know, like a spy or a corrupt government official. The police come to her house. They ransack her house. They take her to the police headquarters, and they interrogate her, and she's pure, she's completely innocent, and the press takes advantage of her, and they like the journalist who's a scumbag in this movie. He goes sees her dying mother. So if you know anything about me, I do like films with happy endings, but I like a lot of films that have unhappy endings, and it has an unhappy ending, but you sort of see like how she resolves these issues. So really good movie. Lost Honor Katharina Blum. This next film is by Claudia Weil. It's another woman-directed film. It's called Girlfriends. This is about a young woman in New York City. She's roommates with another young woman. Her friend, her roommate gets married. So she's just trying to survive. She's a still photographer, and she gets things like she takes her photos to like a porn guy or something like that. Like he sort of intimidates her. She tries to have a relationship with a rabbi who's older man who's a rabbi, and that turns out I don't want to give too much away, but and she meets a young man at a party. So I don't know if coming of age is the right word. I don't know, but it's a really good movie. She's going through all these troubles in her life, but this does have a happy ending. So this is a really good one. This next one is called Chilly Scenes of Winter. It's directed by Joan Micklin Silver. This is a romance movie. the man here, he meets this. He goes to the records department in his office, and he meets this attractive woman. Finds out she's married. They have a relationship, you know, an affair. And he goes like crazy over her. She's crazy over him. But, you know, complications happen, and you know, he goes to see where she lives, and you know, they have, you know, secret dates, you know. It again, unhappy ending, but really good movie. This one is directed by a director named Jean Eustache, and I might be mispronouncing some of these names, you know, in other languages. But it's a French film. I think it won the Palme d'Or. The Mother and the Whore. Not what you think it is. It's not a porno movie. It's a movie. You got the three actors there. Jean-Pierre Léaud, who's a very famous French actor. He started his career with 400 Blows by Francois Truffaut, and was in these series of films by Francois Truffaut called the first one was called The 400 Blows. He was a kid when he was in that one. He was like 12, 13 or something. It's got the famous shot at the end of the movie where he's run away. You know, he's got in trouble with his parents and with his school, and he's put in like a military school, a reform school, and then he just, at the end of the film, he just runs away, and he's reaches the shore, and then there's this famous still frame of him. You know, no options left. So this is him when he was much older, after the, you know, this is later in his life in the 70s, and so The Mother and the Whore refers to the two women. The one woman he's has a relationship with is his girlfriend. He's having an affair with another woman. Something happens with the other woman towards the end of the movie. It's like 4 hours long, but it's not boring. You know, like, you know, when you think of 4-hour films, maybe you think of Lawrence of Arabia or The Godfather or Ben-Hur or Once Upon a Time in America. But it's epic in its intimacy. You know, it's like a lot of films, a lot of the scenes are shot like in rooms, you know, of people's apartments and at cafes, and yeah, so this is really good. So it's not boring, you know. It's like somewhere in the neighborhood of like 3.5 hours to 4 hours. So that's a really good one. This one's this is directed by a woman, Cheryl Dunye, I think her name is. Watermelon Woman, a black woman. She's got a lesbian friend, and then she falls in love with a white lesbian woman. Her character works at a video store. She's a filmmaker, and she's trying to find the identity of a woman called the Watermelon Woman, who was sort of like typecast in these movies in the past, and that's what the film's about. So, very good movie. It's an independent film, and maybe this was their first feature. I think it was. So, okay, next up. I hope I don't make this video too long, because maybe I'd bore people, but Killer Sheep by Charles Burnett. This film takes place, I think it's Oakland, California, and it's in a black neighborhood. A lot of, the main character is a guy who works at a slaughterhouse, and he has a hard time sleeping. So I guess what the title refers to as far as Killer Sheep, you know how you count sheep when you can't go to sleep, you know, like I think it's like a metaphor for the American dream, and how the American dream hasn't been achieved through, you know, in these circumstances, you know, and he doesn't like two of the characters ask him like to get involved in a robbery, and he says he's not going to do that. So his wife says that to the two guys, you know, like, can't you do something more productive with your life? And really good movie. And I will say, like, I have a friend who doesn't like harm to animals. So if you're, I'm going to show a few films here that are basically you know, show slaughterhouse kind of show slaughterhouses. So if you're, you know, you don't want to see animals being cut up and all that stuff, then you probably should avoid this movie. Okay, next up we have a Brian De Palma film. Brian De Palma's made a lot of great films. Maybe this was a second or third. I think it's a second film, because I think his first film was called Hi Mom, with which was Robert De Niro's first film, but this one's called Sisters. This was Margot Robbie. There's a great shot in this. I think I recommended this movie in another video in the past on my channel. Anyways, there's a great shot where one of the women, I think she's walking towards the apartment door, and then another woman's, this is a split screen shot. The other woman's walking across the courtyard, going up the stairs, or is it the elevator? The elevator. Then she comes off the elevator. She walks to the entrance of the woman's apartment, and the woman opens the door, and then, you know, that's pretty cool. But yeah, De Palma is great at those sorts of things, like, you know, diopter shots, like in, what I mean by a diopter shot is like in Dressed to Kill, you know, like you see a close-up of a person's face on one half of the screen, and then a person far away in the other part of the screen, and they're called like diopters because the lens has a different focal length or depth of field or whatever on one side compared to the other. So, and then we go to a Japanese director. There's a director called Nagisa Oshima. His probably his most famous film is called In the Realm of the Senses, which is like in Japan, like I don't think they have much censoring as far as sex and violence goes. But in his film In the Realm of the Senses won the Palme d'Or at Cannes in the 70s. I think it was 75. But it's been banned in Japan because it's a true story about I guess she's like a prostitute Geisha woman having an affair with a married man, and she cuts off his, you know, his penis at the end of the movie, in real life too, and then she's arrested. And I know I'm spoiling it, but maybe everybody knows that one. There are other movies depicting that event, but that movie's been banned in Japan, or was banned in Japan at least. So anyways, he made this other movie called Empire Passion, which is sort of treads on the same ground, you know, the forbidden love kind of a thing, you know, like I think it's a married woman having an affair with somebody. I haven't seen this in a while, but it's really good. And again, you know, I like tragic films, so it's not going to have a happy ending, you know. And then we got this French film called La Piscine. It's got Alain Delon. He died maybe it was a few years ago. He's a really good actor. He's been in some really good films. I'm going to recommend another film in this video about him, you know, that he's in. And he was also in some great, like, he was in Le Samurai by Jean-Pierre Melville. That's like a more well-known Criterion title. He's been in a lot of movies. He's a big French star. And then his the woman he has a relationship with in this movie, what's her name? Can't remember her name. Romy Schneider. So I think they were married at the time. Not now. They were divorced by this time. But you know, they still light the candle. They still show the romance in this. And then you have Jane Birkin in this, who was like a young woman, maybe 19 or 20 in this film. Who I think Alain Delon has the hots for or likes in this film. You know, La Piscine means the swimming pool in French. And something tragic happens at the end, but it's a really good movie. So, okay, so let's move on to the following movie. So, a split second here and we'll be back. Okay, so we got, I think Volker Schlondorf directed this, and it's based on a play by Bertolt Brecht, and it stars the director Werner Fassbinder, one of my favorite directors of all time. That's him right there in the picture. So he plays this cruel kind of guy. I'm trying to recall this film, but I liked it a lot. And he's sort of, I think he's like a grifter kind of a character. But let me try to recall this film. It's got Margarita Ventrada. Oh yeah, she was the director of Lost Honor, Katharina Blum. She might have played Petra von Kant in The Bitter Tears of Petra von Kant, which I love. I highly recommend The Bitter Tears of Petra von Kant. I love that movie. It's sad, but it's got 6 actresses in it. It's set in Petra von Kant's bedroom. Really great movie. And I've recommended that in other videos, so that's why I'm not doing it here. I'm trying to remember this. Yeah, just this poet and sort of his recklessness. It's a guy that's reckless, a reckless drifter kind of a movie. I like it. It's really good, you know. And speaking of Fassbinder, I'm going to recommend 2 Fassbinders this video, and I've recommended other Fassbinders like Bitter Tears of Petra von Kant. There'll be another Fassbinder recommendation in the other video. Anyways, this is a mini-series he made called 8 Hours Don't Make a Day. If you know anything about Fassbinder, you know he's a guy that doesn't like to have happy endings, except for this movie. And the reason why there is a happy ending in this movie is because the people that funded this film, which is a TV miniseries, wouldn't give him the money he wanted unless he had a happy ending. So that's why. So if you want to see a Fassbinder film with a happy ending, this is your film right here. Yeah, just a lot of nice relationships, you know, with family relationships, with all sorts of age levels, and just really good movie. I highly recommend this film. It's got this guy right here. What is his name? I'm trying to remember his name here. What is that guy's name? Anyways, Hanna Shigula's in this. She plays Karin in Petra von Kant. She's a beautiful woman, and maybe it's Gottfried John. Anyways, this guy was in the James Bond movie GoldenEye as the villain. So, but he's been in a lot of Fassbinder films. Hanna Shigula as well. You'll see that mentioned in later in the video. Okay, so now we go to Buñuel. Buñuel's made a lot of great films. My favorites are Belle de Jour, but with Catherine Deneuve, which is a French film, and Viridiana, or Viridiana. I don't know if I'm pronounced. I always pronounce it Viridiana, but I don't think that's the correct pronunciation. But that's with Sylvia Pinel, who passed away maybe a few years ago, and that's set in Spain. Anyways, this is Simon in the Desert. I think he shot this one in Mexico. This is basically comic. You know, if you know anything about Buñuel, Buñuel was an atheist, and he made fun of like rich people and the church. And this one is this, you know, this guy's this what would you call that guy? An ascetic. You know, he's starving himself. He's trying to get closer to God by being on a pillar, and he's being tempted by the devil. And the devil happens to be Sylvia Pinel, who was in Viridiana. So, just a fun movie. This isn't the way it was supposed to turn out. I think it was supposed to be part of an anthology set of movies. You know, like 3 films by 3 different directors as one feature. And this was the only one that was completed. I think like Kurosawa might have been one of them to work on this, and maybe it was Bergman, or Fellini, but I never, you know, this is the only thing I think that got filmed. So Criterion, I guess, picked this up, and you got Simon in the Desert. Okay, so now we're going into World War II. Basically, this is the Holocaust we're addressing here in these films, these next two films. This is I think it's a Czech film, yes, Czech film called The Cremator. This guy that cremates people, but sort of like, why is he doing this with the Nazis? Why is he complying with them? Why is he allowing people to die? Why is he being complicit? Why is he involved with this? And it's got some like great Tibetan Buddhist kind of shots in it, and it's visually it's very beautiful to look at. And yeah, so that's The Cremator. Then we got another Alain Delon movie. We got Mr. Klein. This was directed by Joseph Losey. I think he's he's a blacklisted director. So I think he was from I think he's an American director. I watched another film of his. I think it was him. Yes, The Servant, which was made in England, which is kind of like a restrained movie. It's another Criterion, The Servant. I think The Servant probably requires multiple watches. It's a very slow-moving movie, but it's very interesting. Anyways, Mr. Klein, he's mistaken for this Jewish art dealer, and this does not have a happy ending, but very good movie. And Michael Lonsdale, who plays Drax in Goldfinger, he was also in Spielberg's Munich. He's also in this. He's trying to help him out. Very bleak movie, but a very good movie. And then we still, oh no, this is not World War II. This is after World War II. This is right after World War II. We have Vittorio De Sica, who had made Bicycle Thieves, and Umberto D, two really good, depressing films. Classics. He made another film I recommended a while back, maybe last year or the year before, called Miracle Milan, which like critics lambasted him about because it was sort of Peter Pan-ish, like totally not recognizing the poverty of the characters in Miracle Milan. So the critics didn't like that. But anyways, he made another film, a neorealist film called Shoeshine, and these two young boys, they get involved in something illegal without even knowing they broke the law, and they get put into a children's prison. So bleak, I know, the theme is bleak, but anyways, it's a good movie, so check that out. Now we get to the new wave. I guess Jean-Pierre Melville was like the father of the French New Wave. Anyways, he made these kind of gangster movies. Even like Army of Shadows, which is set in World War II, is really a gangster movie. So this one is La Douce Souffle, which I'm probably butchering the French. It's like a gangster film. That's like in his films, like they're doing a heist. It's a heist movie, and they're going to do a heist on the highway, and they're planning it out. And with heist films, something goes wrong somewhere along the line, and they manage to get one of them to confess, basically not obeying the rules of how to get him confessed. The police, and a really good movie. They plan the heist because this, I think it's armored cars going down the highway, so they think if they do the heist on the highway, they can get a clean getaway, and they have it all mapped out. But with these films, something has to go wrong. That's the beauty of a heist film. Okay, next up we have a Brazilian film I watched recently called Black God, White Devil. I'm trying to remember this off. This doesn't sound like a good endorsement when I'm saying things like I'm trying to remember this, but on the special features, I haven't watched. I think I watched one special feature. I gotta look at this film again. But this guy, I think, becomes a victim, almost gets killed by these bandits, and then he joins the bandits, and I think they're taking people's land. Yeah, I think that's the case. Let me see. It's an existential western. It's oh yeah, he kills his boss, this ranch hand, and then he goes on the run, and they join forces with the armed bandits. Join a whole pledge allegiance to a self-styled holy man who preaches revolt against rich landowners while perpetrating unspeakable acts of violence against the innocent. So, really good movie. I think it's kind of a slow burn movie, but it's good. So, I don't know. Maybe that's one of my worst in this video to talk about because I'm not being very articulate regarding it. But it's a very good movie. So check that out. Next up, we have two by Orson Welles, both adaptations of literary works. This one's by Kafka. The Trial, visually beautiful to look at, great like wide sets and everything. And Orson Welles, if you just watch his, Citizen Kane, yes, Citizen Kane's great movie. I've watched it several times. Touch of Evil is another film that it's sort of, I sort of think Touch of Evil is sort of the end of official noir, before you have films that would, there's still noir made after that, like Blade Runner and American Gigolo and, I don't know, LA Confidential. Anyways, but he made this film called The Trial, which is about a guy that doesn't know why he's accused. He doesn't know the charges, and he's accused of a crime. I think it's basically an existential kind of thing. And the guy that plays him is a guy named Kay, who's played by Anthony Perkins. So, yeah. Next up, we got Shakespearean adaptation. Sometimes Shakespearean adaptations don't work, and some of them do. And this one is pretty good. So, Othello, another greatest Shakespeare, probably the greatest Shakespearean adaptation on film I've ever seen is Kurosawa's Throne of Blood. But this is for a lesser known film. So this is Othello. Othello plays a black man, and he has Desdemona, but Iago, who he depends on, is not to be trusted. So good movie, very good movie. And before we get to the box sets, there's one more movie to recommend on this part of the video, and that's Quadrophenia by The Who. The Who released an album called Quadrophenia in 1973, and in 1979 they released this movie. They created this character named Jimmy, who's basically a juvenile delinquent. He's bad with his job, he's late for his job. He loses his girlfriend. Sting's in this movie. There's like a riot with a bunch of kids and police, and it's fun. It has a tragic ending. Yes, I know. I talk about the tragic endings, but fun movie, very good movie, and check it out. So next up, we got the box sets. So here's the first of the box sets. It's a woman Russian director named Larissa Shepetko. She made, as far as I know, she made two films because there's two films in this box set. But technically, not technically, I think she made more than two films. Anyways, the two of these films. The first one is Wings, where it's about a Russian woman. She adopts a Russian girl, raises her, and the Russian woman works in the military of the Soviet Union. And again, I think it has a tragic. Well, no, I've seen it. It has a tragic ending. She goes up in the plane, I think, at the end, but think it has like an ambiguous end to it. And that's not a very good ringing endorsement, but it is a very good movie, trust me. And The Ascent, if you want a good double feature, but they're very depressing films, you should double feature The Ascent with a film called Come and See by Alem Klima, who was her husband. And she died in, I think it was like 1980 or something. So she made this film called The Ascent, and it's about Russian, set during World War II in I think it's Belarus, just like Come and See is. And these Russian soldiers, they managed to, they go to a person's house, and they find out that the Germans have been there. Anyways, they get caught at the end, and the Germans also take not just the soldiers, but the citizens. The people in the house and the other townspeople, and it has a very tragic ending. They get something. They die, in a horrible way. So, anyways. But this, I know I'm giving that away. Sorry. There is another edition of The Ascent by Criterion with special features. I gave that to a friend of mine, but it's a very good movie. Like the Come and See, which is done by her husband, was about a young boy who in Belarus who's I think he's drafted into the Soviet army, and he loses his mother and siblings to the Nazis, and and there's some pretty traumatic stuff in Come and See. Like they put a bunch of Russian people in a barn, locked the doors, and set it on fire, and they put a gun to the kid's head, and so it's not a fun movie by any stretch of the imagination. And the girl, he knows she gets raped. It's a very intense movie, but a very good movie. But it's one of those movies that are you don't put on at a party or something like that. That's same with The Ascent. That's the same kind of vibe you get there. Okay, so let's end the video with this box set. I've recommended this one in another video, but I'm going to recommend it again. And again, it's Fassbinder, one of my favorite directors. Probably because he has unhappy endings for all his films, except for the one I mentioned, 8 Hours Don't Make a Day. And I'll recommend another Fassbinder in the other video of more well-known Criterions, or I guess what you're considered more well-known. So this is his early work, so let me just show this real fast here. That's The Ascent right there, and then you got Wings. Wings sort of has like an optimistic ending out of a bad ending, like even though she has a tragic ending, she sort of goes up into the heavens of the skies, and like everything's all right. So sort of a optimistic bad ending, Anyways, so you got Beware of a Holy Whore by Fassbinder. It's a film crew. It's a great film about movie making. People waiting to shoot films and how long it takes to shoot and getting money to shoot. But it's also about boredom. So it's more than just about filmmaking. The American Soldier. I think it's about a German soldier comes back to Germany. I can't remember exactly. I don't know. It's a good movie. Gods of the Plague, another good one. I think it's the ex-convict who gets out of jail and tries to stay on the straight and narrow. Katzelmacher with see Hana Shigula there with Fassbender. Fassbender acted in some of his films, but again, you know, just the immigrant laborer is played by Fassbender. So, you know, Fassbender was into like power dynamics, like young and old, boss and worker, either heterosexual lover or homosexual lover, or immigrant. You know, like what's that film he made? Ali Fears a Soul. An old elderly woman has a relationship with a immigrant. What country is that? Moroccan or Algerian? I think it's Algerian. So, but he liked to test things. You know, test like what is acceptable and not acceptable in society or whatever. He was a big fan of Douglas Sirk, who also has some Criterions in the Criterion collection, like Ridden on the Wind and what's the other one? I can't remember. All That Heaven Allows. You know, so that's like I think one of them is like a servant who has an affair with the rich woman that, you know, he's employed by or something like that. You know, and anyways, this is the last one of them. This Love is Colder Than Death. So crime drama with a love triangle. By Fassbender, his prostitute girlfriend Hana Shigula again, and a gangster friend Bruno. So, all right, that finishes the video. Thanks for watching, and happy Criterion hunting, and hopefully you can find some really good Criterions for yourself. And these are just some that I recommend that are like off the beaten path, and maybe you never heard of, and might, if you know, maybe you'll consider buying them. But whatever you do, enjoy your Criterions, and thanks for watching. Bye now.